Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video. In this video we'll be talking about the Guile Crusade Orsis and the scores and the teams that you can build and go about and how to use them. There's many ways to deal so much damage to this boss, and specifically using Viper as a main carry on your lineups, or if you have anybody else, if you're free to play and you build Akuma helps a lot. If you're free to play and build Guile and you have F.Blanka up and Viper, this is the team that I'm actually running. And there's a couple of variations that you need to focus on and you need to think about. As you see, what I've done is I used F.Blanka, Viper and Guile, and the three of them are hyper carries dealing damage. I'm going after I accumulate a bar approximately to 3.5, so I can go and use the buff and stack it from S.Poison. And in the end, when S.Poison is not available, I use the C1 of F.Blanka and I continue my rotation normally. I use Viper C2. And this team is good universally in all of Crusade bosses. You can use these specific units in all of the bosses of Crusade, and it will give you the highest damage possible for teams to put you in top 10. If you're not building them 100% to their maximum capacity, you can build them to a stage that will guarantee you a top 50 100%. So I'm gonna show you the actual team. I've done actually a couple of tries, maybe 10. I refreshed it to show you the lineup. So constantly it's putting me at 100 million plus as a damage in the overall in total, and by the end I could achieve the 120 million and 124 million. And this is the lineup, exactly how I'm running it. I have Chun-Li on Guile because Guile is the least fighter here that I have that crits, and I want his crit, and it's RNG. If you retry 5 times, maybe 10 times, if you want refreshing it, it's 450 diamonds. It gives you 5 attempts. It doesn't cost a lot, so you can have fun with it. If you spent like 500 gems retrying to get you in top 50, top 10 maybe, that's not a bad idea. And the return for it in faith gems is also good to a 500 extent maximum. 500, we're talking about many refreshes, almost 10 refreshes, but it's okay if you did 1 refresh or 2 refresh for this fight. So the fight starts at 3.5 combo meter. When I accumulate this, I start with Guile, I S.Poison with her C2, C1, and I use the C2 of F.Blanka, then Viper, then Guile C3, and the continuation of the rotation. This is only the opening rotation that I start with Guile. I start with Viper, then I do S.Poison, F.Blanka, Guile till the end of the battle. If my S.Poison dies, because she's the weakest one when she drops on the field and gets a super in her face by the boss, I start with Viper, use the C1 of F.Blanka, C2 of Viper, and Guile C3. And I use this only in the last combo because everybody was dead on my team. And I use the EX moves, as you see here. I use the Breath Rage for more crits at the start and a little bit of attack. You can use the Tanuki Whirlwind, it works for it. And you can use the Vigilante. If you have it maxed, it will give you more crits when you start. I use the Sakura for some healing. You can replace this and use the Tanuki if you don't want the healing. It works actually. You don't wipe until the last fight if you have your teams built and you have Viper with a plus 30 and the 6 out of 6 because her shields will protect, and Blanka also protect himself and heals himself with his own shields. And I'm using the Virgil EX. On top of that, it does damage. It can protect me in the end, so I can survive. I tried the Crazy Potato instead of the Vigilante. Also works, will give you the last hit, but it will not deal damage to the boss. And I'm trying to maximize the damage, so I use the Virgil. So it's optional to use the Virgil one. I use the Crazy Potato and it works as well. So let me show you the replay and how I went about it. But first, I want to just mention a few teams that deals a lot of damage. If you've built Viper to her soul power, to her plus 40 or plus 60, you can go with Viper. The rotation will be Viper, Street Poison, F.Blanka, then Viper till the end of the fight. When Street Poison dies, you can use Viper, Bison, F.Blanka, then Viper in the end. And for the third team, the people that are using Akuma, and as we see now, free-to-play players are using Akuma and they built him. This guy is not free-to-play, but he built Akuma, and the way that you can run that is you start with Akuma, Street Poison, Chun-Li, then Bison, then you start with Akuma, Street Poison, Akuma, then Chun-Li till the end of the fight, and this is how you go about it. Now I will show you the replay of my team and how it went through. So at the start, I just wait and accumulate. The boss will put on you burn debuff till the end of the fight, but you need to, it doesn't hurt at the start, it hurts in the end, and you need to wait a little bit. I saw people using Zangief here, but the problem is he doesn't deal damage, he just mitigates the damage that you take. So I accumulate a bar to 3.5, and then I start with Guile. As you see, Guile, and I start with the EX move, the Birth Rage, and I go Street Poison, F.Blanka, then Guile. Then I start with Viper, Street Poison, F.Blanka, then Guile. And as you'll see here, my Street Poison will die in the end. I start with Viper, and here I used F.Blanka. So I used Viper, F.Blanka, Viper, then Guile, and I go again Viper and F.Blanka. I couldn't continue the rotation and everybody died. But in the end, I got the high score because of it. I used F.Blanka twice. My Street Poison didn't die actually, but at this stage she dies, but I continue the rotation as well. If I continue Street Poison buffing, I will miss on the damage because the C1 now affects, because all of the buffs that I gain, the C1 of F.Blanka does more damage than his C2. So, and I trigger the flame with the C2 of Viper, so it burns, the burns explode and it deals more damage to the boss. And this is how I accumulate the highest numbers. Let's look about the teams that the others are using. Same team as I showed you with Viper carrying, and here same team. This is a consistent team. Some people are using Evil Ryu. You can borrow him or you can use your own Evil Ryu, but I don't advise that, since Evil Ryu will add to you, it will give you in the top 10, it will give you good damage, but you need to merc it, because an A or A plus or less or more than this a little bit prior to double S, he will die. I tested it. I have him as a mercenary, fully maxed, if you see here, and I tried him on a run. I tried him, I think, instead of F.Blanka or instead of Poison, but it didn't work as well in my favor. So that was it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. If you didn't, I thank you for watching, and as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fly, time to fly.